You talk about these three major mindset changes that we need to kind of experience in order to make sure that we can be fit and healthy in our later years. Things like not focusing on weight loss, but instead focusing on building muscle. That for me is, again, it's a bit of a narrative violation because I think as we age, one of the things that we see as being inevitable is that we are going to gain weight. So most people go to war with just trying to lose specifically abdominal fat. I think a lot of men are really quite obsessed with their abdominal fat. Why do we need to make that mindset shift?
You know what? And I'll take that shift even further. And I like to frame it as we don't want to lose weight. We want to recompose. What are we made of, right? We want to be made of healthy muscle. We want to care about how much what percentage of our body is fat. We need fat. Fat has a purpose in our body or we wouldn't have it. But what percentage are muscle? So what happens when we just focus on losing weight and our primary method is calorie restriction? What we know, it is clear from many papers that if we just calorie restrict with nothing else, we will lose 25 to 50% of our weight as muscle. And then that makes us metabolically less healthy because muscle is a glucose sink. You know, when we feed ourselves and there's sugar circulating, it is taken up by our muscle. If we lose 25 to 50% as we lose weight, we have less metabolic availability to get rid of all that. And then when we come off our crazy calorie restriction diet, the weight we gain back is 80% fat. So if we're troubled with yo-yo diets, which so many people struggle with that, they'll lose weight, they'll gain weight, they'll lose weight. It becomes this circle as we're continuously losing more muscle. So when I frame it for men and women, I want them to think of recomposing. How, as I'm losing fat percentage, can I gain muscle? And so that puts it in a different perspective. I don't care what you weigh. You know, I'm a muscly woman. I weigh more probably than people would think I would because I have lower body fat, I have higher muscle content. And that's what we care about. And for people, I always chuckle when I say this, that are really interested in the way clothes fit, which I am. I'm as vain as they come. Well, muscle is nature's Spanx. You may weigh more, but you're tighter and everything fits and looks better. So it's not weight, it's composition.
Can we be as in shape as we were when we were 25, when we're 45?
We can be different.
Different, okay.
There are lots and lots of examples all over of either people staying healthy. I mean, look at Tom Brady. He's a great example, right?
Cristiano Ronaldo is a great example.
Oh my God, I just saw him the other day playing, actually in this Europe tournament. I just saw him playing. There are lots of examples of that from pro sports now, but even in mere mortal athletes, they're posting all over the internet how they have maintained, or many people, a light bulb turns off and they say, I'm sitting on my rear end. I'm as strong today as I'm ever going to be unless I do something. And we have pictures of people investing in weightlifting and high protein meals and getting in better shape than they ever were. I was in the best shape of my life when I was 40. And then I went through perimenopause and thought I was going to die. And now I'm 57. I'm in some of the best shape of my life. I'm not 19% body fat like I was when I was 40, but as a whole person, this is the best it's ever been.
Everything that we've discussed so far today is kind of contingent on you making a decision.
Yes.
Now, when you talk about the whole human, how can you influence someone who might have got this far in the conversation today and they understand everything you've said? They go, yeah, I know some of that stuff. I know this thing here. And, you know, I've heard that over in this book or this podcast before, but for some reason, I just can't do it. Can't get myself to do it. Maybe I'll do it for one day, but then the yo-yo goes back to the bottom. And
there's this concept in banking called temporal disconnect. It's a banking term. I came upon it as I was writing these books initially. And the concept is that bankers, financial people, want us to put a little bit away every day, not for today. There's no satisfaction in that for today. In fact, it's deprivation for today, but it's for the future. The concept of temporal disconnect is that you don't know who you're going to be in 30 years. You're Or 40 years, a 70-year-old Stephen, you don't know that guy. You don't care about that guy. You don't even know what he's like, what he's going to become. So, but you do know today's Stephen. And so you're going to take care of this guy, not that guy. And so that's why bankers can't get us to invest our money in the general population, right? Most people don't have much savings, right? The same is true when we apply it to our health. What do we want now? What's going to make me feel good now? What, can I bargain with myself that I'll do it tomorrow? Or this little bite's not going to hurt me, right? Because the temporal disconnect of at 63, if I don't do something now, I'm going to have chronic disease rear its ugly head. That is a hard argument. Some people are disciplined enough to think like that. That's a hard one. So some of the ways to help people now is to help them identify how amazing they're going to feel now. And instead of feeling sluggish, sitting in a chair all day with back pain, if we invest every day in walking, in sprint intervals, which is going to make us lose fat, or lifting heavy, which is going to put on the muscle of Spanx and make us look good. And plus, when you get done lifting heavy, you feel like a badass, right? If you can make that the reward, that is an easier thing to do, because you are right. We know what to do. We just don't do it. And we know what to do and we don't do it, because the battle is in the 5.5 inches between our ears. It's not actually picking up the barbell, right? And so it's identifying how this is going to make me feel today, not for 20 years. And here's the other thing. I honestly think sometimes it comes down to self-worth. Do I believe that I am worth the daily investment in my health? Or do I believe that everything else is more important than me? And that's hard. And I have come to understand that until you believe that you are worth the daily investment in your health, nothing else matters.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.